Well, okay. And so we've reached level 12, the final level in Dungeon of the Elements with the escape pod. And I'll note that unless you're playing it with the drill pod, all the chips will basically end at floor 12. This is where the game gets, well, very difficult to say the least. And you basically had, only about 16 dust up here to basically work with. There's going to be very few major module slots to basically find, so any I basically find will be very important for basically progressing in this level. Alright, let's look up here, and the first door here has no major module slot. This will likely happen a lot. There'll basically be a lot of these, rooms with, no module slots at all. And unfortunately, there's a toxic cloud in this room, which is bad. You don't want to have toxic clouds showing up right away. There's a major module slot, that's good. And our toxic cloud, why not? But anyhow, because there's a module slot over here, and I got a little bit of dust for it, I'm basically going to build an instant generator right here. And I'll let Gold basically start operating on this. Now, I'm tempted to open up the door over here, but because there's a toxic cloud, I'm basically going to hold off on this. We'll leave Goldie to basically operate that for now, and we'll start moving in this direction, I think. First room has no module slot in it, major module slot. I'll move Nanner and Gork over in this direction now. There's a major module slot, that's good to find. Alright, so I'll note that since this is here, I'm just going to get rid of that right away because I don't need to do research at this point. You shouldn't be doing research when you get to floor 12, unless there's something you really want to research, but for the most part, I'm more interested in basically, progressing through the dungeon at this point, and not really worrying about research. Alright, so I haven't really built a whole lot of these, or I don't think I've built any of them yet, but the emergency generator. This is basically something you can use to power up rooms without any dust, when you don't basically have a dust for it, but you need to power up a room. So I'm going to place this right here. That'll essentially power up the room for me without having to spend dust for me, and I can basically place some defenses in here to make use of for defending this area. And I think what we're going to build a dust field generator, a suppressor firebolt, an all dock shards, and a tear gas 4, I think. Or maybe I'll do bioorganic transference. No, I think we'll go with tear gas. Bioorganic transference is, probably not needed here. So we'll basically build all this stuff in here. I'm going to move Gork into this room over here, and he's basically going to equip the hipster scarf on him. He's already got it on, never mind. I never actually sold this power suit from last level. I probably should have. Though I'm not sure who I would equip it on if I did. Until I need it, I'm going to basically put the A thing on Maxwell Kane. Now, I'll note that I'm basically putting a hipster scarf on Gork here because just in case there's a bulldozer or something that can basically break down the crystal enemies that can basically break down the modules, if they were coming in here and blow us up, basically all this these modules in here are going to get powered down, just because this is what's powering the room. It's not my dust, it's this. So I want to be very careful about having this bit powered down. And we're going to send Nax basically to explore in this direction for now. Nice, we found another module slot. I can make use of this to basically power up another room, so we'll basically put down another machinery generator. And you can basically do this as much as you have resources for it, so this is why I want to build up lots of industry for the last levels. You can basically put down a lot more of defenses or emergency generators to basically carry on the levels. And I think in this room, let's build one pepper spray, and I'll put one Tesla module in here. And let's keep going. Nice, we found some dust. I can basically use this to power up the room over here. There's a better spacesuit. I can put that on Golgi over here. Now, note that this spacesuit, it gets 2 wit, 15 defense, negative 8 speed, HP max and HP regen. The only real difference between this tier of spacesuit and this one is basically the HP regen, the HP max, and the defense. So you're not gonna get increased wit with these better spacesuits. But you do get more, better stats, so it's still better to have around, nonetheless. Cool. Let's send Max over in this direction a little bit more. And yeah, note that there's very few major module slots in the dungeon here. I'll note that this is another Herna type warrior. but he's not, you know, I haven't found this guy to be as dangerous as the other Hearn is. Not as dangerous as these guys, basically. Now, it's worth knowing, it's kind of hard to see, but this like sort of like red floating triangle thing, that's a really dangerous enemy. I'm not sure if we saw like the earlier form of it, but I'm pretty sure we did. But basically, these are basically zoners, and they'll basically go after your modules, but they won't go after your major modules. They'll actually go after your minor modules, like these like globs here do. Unlike these globs, though, these guys will actually damage the modules, so they're actually really dangerous to have around. So I want to be very careful with these guys. They will actually seek out your heroes, though, so they didn't go over here, which is nice. Alright. Alright, more enemies are popping in. So as you can see, they're attacking my modules over here. Now, depending on what happens, it may come to the point where I may decide to like remove these like modules, the pepper spray and the Tesla module I put in here. I built these in case like there's bulldozers, but if I don't find any bulldozers, I may remove them because of those zoner enemies, those like flying crystals being around. Those flying crystals are actually more devastating to like defenses like these than they are to like my major module. So they will damage the major module, which is why I don't want them to do that. Basically, this is preventing monsters from spawning in this room. So I have to basically think about where it's, you know, better to remove these if I don't find any bulldozer enemies. Those like, you know, big crystal honking guys that will, you know, they'll basically knock out the big ones. If they aren't around, then, you know, I'll probably just remove these so I don't have to worry about them getting destroyed. Alright, so looks like that's it for over here. And this is going to be a very quick level, apparently. Alright, I want to note this right now. Basically, on the last level here, you want to find the exit and then beat it. There's really no reason to stick around once you find the exit. So we're actually going to win the game right now. Now, something to note here is that I don't have a whole lot of power, so I'm basically powered up to here. There's no major model slot in there to basically use, so yeah. Alright, let's move maybe these guys over to this room over here then. We'll put down some defenses, maybe we'll put down some suppressive firebolt and some pepper spray. The reason I'm moving everyone over to this room over here is because basically we're basically gonna have these guys defend from these flanks here until the crystal comes. Then I'll move everyone down to the exit. Basically, we're gonna win the game right now. And it's like, you know, a good lesson to basically make note of. You don't have to open every door in the dungeon, especially on level 12. And on level 12, I'm more interested in just getting out. So that's what we're gonna do. As you can see, it's a pretty damn big dungeon. I'm actually pretty lucky to find this right away. Alright, let's get out of here. So the fire explosion marks the last level of the dungeon and basically making you to the exit. And as you can see, I didn't spend a whole lot of time getting through this level. So I want to note that this was a very lucky find for an exit to be found so quickly. You know, it's random where you'll basically find the exit. I didn't know where it was, but I found it right away. Because I found it right away, I was able to book it like that, and that's what I recommend do. If you're on level 12 and you're able to like book it, you know, to the exit like that, do so. You'll basically win the game right away. Now, I'll note that you could go for achievements and such, where you basically have to open up all the doors in the dungeon and stuff like that. So there's reason to basically open up all the doors or stick around. But, you know, basically, at this point, I found the exit. I want to get out of here, win the game. You're probably looking to do the same, so this is what you basically do to basically win a game like that. So yeah, that's a win. When you basically finish here, this is the endgame cinematic. So there's my heroes that made it out alive. Max, Gork, Nenor, and Golgi. My score, the ship I used, and basically the difficulty I had it set to, and the version number for the game. Here's my high scores. And you can probably look down here. You probably won't have this many, as amount of times played as I do, but there's like, the flashing thing that indicates the, the run that you basically did. The heroes that basically won. And of course you can see your stats for overall and all the stuff that's necessary as well. Now, I'll note, by the way, if you ever want to look back at your high scores, they're in your journal right here. That's what that basically is. And that's basically it for this Let's Learn for Dungeon of the Endless. Now, before I go, there's actually something I want to basically note. I basically wasn't able to cover everything I want to because this is a roguelike and, it's basically random everything you get. There was actually a special monster I never actually got to show you guys and like what to deal, how to deal with it and stuff like that. And it's essentially this sort of immobile enemy that basically spawns in a room. This immobile enemy will spawn in a room. It'll basically cause like, it'll have this basically sort of like growth spirit, which basically causes it to grow over time. And essentially it'll get more and more powerful as it basically grows. It basically grows like from like sort of like tier 1 to tier 4 stage. And at tier 1 it's really weak, but as it progressively gets to tier 4 it's really, really strong. This enemy is like, actually really cause for concern in like the easy difficulty, but very easy is also fairly concerning. It basically will buff up the other enemies on the floor, while itself, it'll also, get stronger as it gets stronger. Plus, as it basically, is around, it'll actually reduce the amount of dust you collect from other enemies on the floor as well. In a sense, I was very lucky not to find it in this run, but if you find it, there's actually a couple of things you can do with it. One, you should basically try and kill it before it basically grows up, because it'll basically buff up your monsters if you don't, and if it is around, then you also have to worry about the fact that it's going to be, basically get stronger if you basically leave it alone. But here's the thing about it. If you're basically having trouble with them, here's a couple tips to basically kill them. One, if you remember, I basically found an aftershave item. That aftershave item basically gets skulking, and that lets you be ignored by monsters and such. That's a very good item against them. Basically, they won't attack you, even if you have that item on. They will attack other heroes in the room if that hero's with them. Basically, they have an AoE attack that basically hits everything in the room. But if they're in a room by themselves and you send that hero by themselves into a room with aftershave equipped on them, the hero with the aftershave item will actually kill that monstrosity, pretty easily enough. The other way to basically deal with them is basically to use resources to either build Autodox shards, those self-healing modules that I basically had researched at the end there, or you can basically try and heal your heroes, or you can basically try and use abilities to kill them. That's a little bit more expensive, and I wouldn't recommend doing it if you have low resources in like food or industry, if like that's what you're lacking. And if it basically comes to it, you may have to basically ignore them. If it comes to the point where you have to ignore those, basically, it may happen where like they're just too strong for you to deal with. There's basically only two options you basically have. You basically either have to sort of like run from the level, and that's unfortunate if you have to do it. But if there's an exit available and those guys are around, it might be the best idea to do right then. Just take the gem and run for it. The other thing you can do is basically sort of just like leave them there and sort of continue on your way, and that's possibly doable if you have like Autodox shards, so you should basically heal up your heroes. Basically, you can use the Autodox shards to basically heal up your heroes that get damaged, during a fight, during a enemy wave, and basically keep going from there. And then they just try and get by with it, not killing you. But anyhow, that's like that's just one thing that didn't show up, and it's unfortunately it didn't show up because I can't show it. I will note, however, if you basically look at my other videos, I do have a lot of like Let's Plays for Dungeon of the Endless, and it does show up in some of those Let's Plays, and you can probably see how I deal with it there. Specifically, if you look at my Drill Pod Easy Let's Play, where I basically was using Sarah and Mizzy and a couple other heroes, in one of those instances where Chimera Keeper, which is the name of the monster, shows up, I actually use Sarah with an aftershave to basically deal with him, and you actually see like her hacking away at him, slowly bringing him down. But anyhow, that's basically it for this Let's Learn. I hope you've enjoyed and possibly learned something if you're new to the game, or if you're an old player and maybe you learned something new from it as well. For now, take care.